Okay, I don't want to really spend a lot of time on this next part of it,
Okay.
but something happened.
Yes.
What caused you to take your eyes off of Jesus? Not because we want to hear about necessarily you, but there are people watching, young people today who are tempted to take their eyes off of Jesus. Tell me what happened and where did you go briefly, in other words, and then what brought you back?
Well, as I got older, in my teenage years, the personality I am, I'm sanguine, so I enjoy being around people. That's one thing, I was a people pleaser. Wanted acceptance, loved to be involved. And I came to really accept Christ at the age of 12, and I got baptized, and I was on fire. I mean, I did everything by the book, and I was happy, except for I was lonely physically because my relationship was still young. And my friends in the church, because I mainly hung around with people in the church, they weren't where I was. And I was more and more alone because I didn't do the things that they wanted to do, or I tried to stay away from the conversations, and then I was ridiculed, and that really, really hurt. It did, and I didn't know how to handle that. So eventually, I found myself compromising, just to fit in, and not wanting to be made fun of. And it didn't take long. I wasn't having devotion anymore, and before I know it, I'm in high school, in a boarding academy, just totally just living my life. Still singing because that's what I love to do. But my relationship with Christ had just fallen apart. And I have to say, young people, is so important to keep that relationship. You can have your friends, but you gotta have your relationship with Christ first so you can stand firmly. And that you know how to handle the pressures of young people that aren't walking as closely with Him as you're striving to do. And so, next thing I know I was graduating, first year in college. By now, I'm an adult. I'm away at Andrews University. I'm pursuing my degree, and I'm living life as Angela sees fit. Because mind you, I have not really spent much time with God. So, flesh has taken over. And I started partying, my first taste of parties, and not at Andrews. Let me say that, not at Andrews, but just plenty of neighboring schools that you can go to. And, the flesh will find its own, it senses it.
That's right.
And also the company you keep will help you get there as well. And so I partied and got into the drinking a little bit. Didn't get to that heavy, but I did. I experimented. And unfortunately, I experimented with premarital sex as well. And as a result of that, I became a young mother. At the age of 19, I was expecting my first child.
You're married or?
Not married. No.
Didn't marry?
Not married.
Okay.
Totally devastated my family. My church, the disappointment, and me being the person that I am, oh my goodness, everything I've worked for to receive, the approval, I've just totally demolished by making these stupid choices because I failed to live up to what I know. Failed to be connected with my Savior. And so I became a young mother. And that was the pivotal point in my life. I mean, here I am, I'm a child still. I'm still, trying to figure myself out and have these dreams of being this singer, Even though I wasn't walking with Christ, I still was planning to be a Christian singer. Isn't that hideous? But I knew at a younger age that I did tell the Lord this: I will not use the gift that you've given me for the world.
All right.
Okay, I may not be walking with you right now, but I do plan to get back there.
All right.
When I get over this bitterness and whatever else I'm going through. Until then, I will not use it for anything else.
Wow.
And I kept to that. But it still took a few years. After becoming a single parent, there was a struggle of how do I gain back the approval of the ones my parents, my church. How do I, and it's funny, I never thought about how do I get the approval of God again. That still didn't cross my mind.
There you go.
And my strong-willedness was still in control. And I tried to fix my life. I had my agenda. I was still in the church, still going. But that rebellious spirit in me, that that's what kept me going. I'm not going to let them run me out the church. I'm God's child. Just the wrong attitude, even in my mess. But God is so loving. He is so merciful. And during that time, as I was becoming a parent, being a parent, trying to finish school, looking for the right man to help raise my child, trying to fix Angela's life and correct everything that I wronged. My way, the Lord kept His hand on me. And I ended up at Oakwood, where that's where my relationship and love for Him rekindled. God has many servants everywhere. And he puts the right person at the right time in your life to bring you back to where you need to be. And at Oakwood, my experiences there, and I had some good and bad, but the right experience happened right before I left.
Wow.
And after many broken relationships and finally realizing that all I really wanted, he had, I finally surrendered. And I mean, I surrendered. I was tired of the rat race. I was tired of beating myself over with one relationship after the next. Just not of him and beating me down physically sometimes, emotionally and spiritually. Yeah, I was dead, you know. But God had not given up on me.
Yeah.
And
beautiful.
I reconnected with the Lord. And in my final year of school, I had made up my mind. When I graduate out of here, Lord, you take me wherever you want. I am yours. I'm yours now, but it is your plan. I am your servant.
You tried your way, it didn't work.
Oh yeah, my way didn't work. And I'm telling you, if you do not consult the Lord with what he has in store for you, you may accomplish the goal that you set. But I promise you will not be happy.
All right.
You will not be happy until you are back where you belong and you are doing what God has called you to do.
That homing device is always calling you home.
Oh yeah. Oh, God doesn't give up on you, okay?
Yeah.
We give up on God.
Yeah,
but he never gives up on me. And I thank God, because I
great.
would not be here today. I wouldn't be here. And I'm so grateful.
So God blessed you with a husband?
Oh, Earl, yes.
Yeah. All right.
When you
Any
wait
more
on
children?
the Lord, we have 2 children. Roger was my firstborn. Our second is Sydney Loren Brown.
All right.
She's 4 years old and she is a handful. A little singer herself.
All right.
Musically inclined.
Okay.
And so is my son. My son has a beautiful voice.
All right.
And he's after school, he graduates this year from high school. He wants to pursue a degree in music engineering as well as graphic design. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
incredible.
He's a chip off the block.
So it's never too late. You said earlier, as long as there's breath,
as long as there's breath,
God can do something great in you and through you.
Oh, yes.
If you're willing to acknowledge your mistakes. You had to some point acknowledge, God, I really messed up.
Oh, yes. There's no plan around
During
that.
this time, Satan's plan, he likes to destroy people and kill people when they're at their farthest from God. Did you have anything like that? Did Satan ever try to come against you?
Did he? He started when I was with him at a young age. He tried to take me out many times. I came close to death 2 or 3 times when I was younger.
Really?
Yeah. One incident I'll just mention when I was younger, I was playing with my cousins, fell on my stomach. And it immediately developed, I immediately developed a clot, a blood clot. And for 3 weeks I was in the hospital, intensive care. And I went into shock they almost lost me. That was one major time that I remember as a young child. But at that point where I was older and adult and I was doing my thing and out there just, taking advantage of God's grace. In one of my relationships I was in, the gentleman actually ended up putting a gun to the back of my head. And as I sat there thinking, God, this is not the way. I want to leave here. Please don't let my family, receive the news that I died like this. Oh yeah, and I had just come back to God at that point. And I was dating a young man that my friends thought was right, He had all the right signs. And I listened to them, but I didn't ask God. That's where I messed up.
Go.
I forgot to ask him. And it ended up where I had a very close, he actually pulled the trigger. And I know it was nothing but God's hand that moved that gun. And the bullet went through the wall outside in the parking lot. It was nothing but God.
Man.
And I was convinced. I said, Lord, it's not my time. We got work to do. And I walked out that house. I never looked back. I didn't hold a grudge against him. I said, Lord, I hear you loud and clear. Even through the ringing in my ear, I hear you, Lord.
Especially,
Oh yeah, and the devil, he gets upset. This is one more soul he can't claim. And this is a loudmouth soul that he can't claim. So he knows as long as I am saved, as long as I'm working in God's vineyard, there are many more souls that are going to be claimed for the kingdom. So I expect that he comes all kind of ways.
That's right.
But you know what? One thing I did learn, stay connected with Christ.
There you go.
And I can do all things, and I can overcome all things. So that's what I live for.